I want to shift gears here a little bit. Bitcoin, your Bitcoin ETF debuted about a week ago now. We've seen the price of Bitcoin come off since those approvals were greenlit, and we've seen shares of ETFs, including ARK21 shares Bitcoin ETF, come off as well. Is this a sell the news dynamic? Is something else at play here? How do you think about that now that we actually have these instruments in the market to track Bitcoin in a more material way?
Yes. Well, we're very excited that Bitcoin now is in the ETF wrapper and therefore very accessible at very low prices. What we do have, and there was speculation beforehand, will this be a sell on the news? We said yes, and then we were hearing that so much that we thought, well, maybe not. Well, it turns out that FTX is, I guess it's nearly $1 billion in GBTC, has been sold as this Bitcoin, as the Bitcoin ETF has come out. And I think that's been part of the pressure. I do think there's sell on the news because I think some people expected it to hold a little more than it has. But this has not disturbed our point of view at all. We think this is one of the most important investments of our lifetimes. This is a global rules-based monetary system. And it's a very big idea. And we think it's the biggest of all of the crypto ideas out there. So we're very happy to be a part of this movement.
Okay.
Providing more access to Bitcoin. This is the financial superhighway, a public good, and therefore we have priced it accordingly. But we're very excited about the prospects. Our price target, as you know, is quite high if you give us a time horizon to 2030.
Yeah.
Crypto fam, welcome back to the channel. Checking out some updated stats here. This is from the Bitcoin ETF. You can see all the ETFs here and how much inflows and outflows they're having every single day. So you can see overall, excluding Grayscale, we're having massive inflows every single day for all these Bitcoin ETFs. The only thing that's really holding us back are these massive outflows from Grayscale. You can see how much Bitcoin they hold. They had over 617,000 BTC. But people are trading out of Grayscale. They're probably trading some of this into some of the other ETFs because they have 150 basis points for their fee at Grayscale. And also people are redeeming who have maybe bought at a premium or they may have bought at a discount and they're selling some of their Bitcoin. So you can see just a huge amount of Bitcoin leaving from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust there. Does that slow down? Potentially it does. They have a lot left to go, 552,000 BTC. So it's going to be interesting to see if this starts to slow down. It's been 5-figure Bitcoin every single day, over 10,000 BTC. But the other ETFs with inflows are keeping up. And like I said, some of these Bitcoin that are leaving this trust are probably going into some of these other ETFs there. But in my personal opinion, this is great news for the Bitcoin ETF. I think the first week and a half has been very, very good for the ETFs. We've seen a lot of trading volume, a lot of interest. We can see the price has tanked here a little bit, down from around a high of $49,000. I believe that was the day right before the ETF was filed. We are currently down around 19%. This is not really a huge move in Bitcoin. If you are new to Bitcoin or crypto, I mean, this is pretty normal. And especially in a bull run, this is something that we see a lot of. And you can see right here, this is the Bitcoin run from 2015 to 2018, where we hit that all-time high of around $20,000. We had a lot of huge pullbacks. If you can see right here, a 30% pullback right here in 2015, another 37% pullback, 42% pullback, a 40% pullback, another 30% pullback, 35% pullback, 40% pullback, 40% pullback, and another 70% pullback. And that's on the way from around a $230 Bitcoin all the way up to $20,000. So Bitcoin tends to be very volatile when it goes up. Right now may be a great opportunity for you to buy the dip. We could potentially have some more pain because of how much Bitcoin is leaving the grayscale Bitcoin ETF right now. So we could see some more pain, but make sure to watch till the end because there's some huge news that could potentially be even bigger than the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And in other news, the S&P 500 has hit an all-time high. Last time we saw prices this high in the S&P was back in November of 2021 and finally hitting new all-time highs. So one thing that could happen here is we could have a potential double top play out here. We could see the S&P tank. So if the S&P does tank, Bitcoin's price may go down around with it, but we could see the S&P have a good year in 2024 and continue to the upside, and Bitcoin will probably perform well right along with the S&P. And one thing to think about here, guys, is while we're having these all new time highs in the S&P, we're having a lot of layoffs here in January. Layoffs are actually up to 12,000 this month, and we haven't seen that many since May of last year. So a lot of layoffs. I'm sure you guys have saw some videos online and people talking about they've been being laid off here as of late. So this is just the tech industry. So we're just starting to see more companies do layoffs, even though the S&P is hitting all-time highs. So it's kind of weird to see that there. And then we can compare what does Bitcoin do after the S&P hits a new all-time high. So this is back in 2012. Bitcoin was just kind of flat after the S&P hit a new all-time high. This is 2016. Bitcoin dumped after this new all-time high in the S&P before making a little bit of a move to the upside in 2018. Bitcoin kind of fell off of a cliff. Then in 2019, Bitcoin made a little bit of a bull run. 2020, we saw Bitcoin go on a massive bull run. And now we're here in 2024. So we'll see what happens next for BTC. Are we going to go to the downside or the upside? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're fearful about buying Bitcoin right now, I don't think you should be. I think you should just continue to dollar cost average in. We see this trend here. This is the Bitcoin balance on exchanges, and it's continuing to go down and down and down. This is a trend that we have seen after that halving back in 2020. We're going to have that halving in April this year. So more Bitcoin is potentially going to be taken off of exchanges. The trend is continuing to go down and down and down. And as the exchanges lose Bitcoin, we could see a massive, massive supply shock. So that's just something to take into consideration. And this is the big news I was talking about earlier. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, rumored a 1 million Bitcoin buy could come very, very soon. So recently, the governments for Saudi Arabia and Qatar are potentially sizing up for a huge Bitcoin investment, which could come as soon as next week. So they're saying they're looking to get at least 1 million Bitcoin using their sovereign wealth funds. And if you compare that to how much Bitcoin Satoshi holds, that's just 100,000 less Bitcoin than Satoshi. So if this happens, this will cause a massive supply shock because there's not that much Bitcoin left on the exchanges in the world, which could lead to just some massive, massive price gains. But one thing that you have to take note of here is where this source came from. This is Max Kaiser, and Max is definitely a Bitcoin maximalist, and he's always very, very radical. So this doesn't mean this is going to happen, but you can see this is actually, it would dwarf what BlackRock and what MicroStrategy have done so far. MicroStrategy, I believe, has around 200,000 Bitcoin. So if these governments come in and buy 1 million BTC, that would make what MicroStrategy has done so far look very small. And it's going to be really interesting to see if these countries do decide to do this, how other countries are going to act. Is this going to be like a gold rush for countries to get Bitcoin on the balance sheet? Could we see the United States or China or Russia or one of these big countries that have huge GDPs take some of their fiat currency, buy Bitcoin, and put it on the balance sheet? It's going to be interesting to see. So that's all I had for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought about all of that in the comment section below. Do you think this could potentially happen? Let me know. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Make sure to hit that like button if you found any value. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.